this channel, we break down the top crypto influencers in the world and we copy trade them and we figure out what their heuristics and theses are in order to get the same results in the market that they get. Right now in the market, things are looking a little bit dicey. Let's have a look at this. Probably the biggest YouTube crypto influencer says he's lost $1 million in crypto. I believe this is in a day. It says just another day in crypto. But he personally, and we're going to get to the good news during the middle, probably about a third of the way through this video. It's going to turn around and talk to you about how this is just the classic pullback in crypto and the super cycle is still on, but no spoilers there. Brian Jung says, expecting a bounce within the next 5 to 10 days. Crypto Go John says, deleted my portfolio tracker. I'll re-download it in the next few weeks, saying, don't refresh your portfolios. Again, cool to have a little bit of a idea on what John thinks the time frame is going to be for the turnaround and the actual super cycle taking place where things get exponential and make things look really silly. The altcoin daily says, hey boss, did you miss me? And tweeted out the classic going from Ferraris and talking about moving to Dubai with the boys to back to McDonald's for your $8 an hour, whatever hell they pay these days. Ansem says, just check my meme coin bags and posted the classic photo, the classic meme of BitBoy Ben taking his asthma puffer during the fight with Ansem. Now, have a look at the Bitcoin chart. But I'm going to put my own personal thesis based on what I am thinking is going to happen here. But to be honest, this is nothing, guys. Look at the pullback on Bitcoin. So it topped it at 108, a little bit higher than this is actually saying. I think this has got it at about 99. Pull back to 93 grand. This is a tiny little blip when you zoom out on the Bitcoin chart. And even I'm like, oh, I'm going to start this YouTube video with crypto bubbles where you've got all the red bubbles and create some fear and panic and then pull it back and saying it's going to be okay and we're all going to be wealthy. We're not all going to be wealthy. 5% of us are going to be extremely wealthy as the super cycle hits. But this is the week on crypto bubbles. And honestly, these altcoins don't look too bad at all. Now, this is the top 100. So I clicked up here. I'm like, okay, maybe we'll show down in the real degenerate alts and how far they're down. But have a look. In this week, the top 100 to 200 coins are only down 9%. The top 500 coins are barely down. The top 900 to 1,000 coins is the worst, and it's only down 13%. So I'm starting to think we could be pulling back way more than this and still look extremely bullish for the year. Now, Crypto Knight puts this is where we turn the video into the positive right here. He says, imagine being told back in October when Bitcoin dipped below $60,000 that just months later, the fear and greed index would hit 50 again, which is a neutral index. This is how greedy or fearful people are feeling in the crypto market. And Bitcoin would be at $93,000. It would sound insane to people. And Art School Reject, who is one of the meme coiners that we've broken down on this channel, says, cutting through the fat here, this looks like a very picturesque local bottom. Silk Road is flooding again. That's that $6.5 billion that the US is holding. And apparently Biden is threatening to sell it before Trump gets into office, which just like when Germany was selling their billions of dollars of crypto, it just needs to be absorbed before we go parabolic. Meme coins to zero. Bears are out. People yelling that meme coins are going to go to zero and that there's no utility to them. The classic mid-curvers. And Bitcoin back down to 50K callers are also out. Meanwhile, the first pro-crypto president we've ever had in the USA gets inaugurated in just a few days. I believe that's about 10 days away from now. Ellio Trades seconds that and says the first crypto president in history takes office this month. Good luck to the sellers. If you're selling now, you better need the money. This is not what Ellio says. That's what I'm adding on top of Ellio just so we can get clear with that. Because for me, I'm not selling a thing. I'm down maybe, I don't know. I also haven't checked my portfolio, but I'm guessing about 6 figures. But these are the bumps that we need to ride if we want the generational wealth. If you are paper handing here or you're investing money that you can't afford to lose, these are the nice small lessons that we're getting along the way, because maybe that's the whole point of crypto, to teach us the life lessons we need to learn. Johnny says, in my opinion, this is one gigantic shakeout before Trump gets into office. A month from now, it will be so obvious and we'll all be patting each other on the back and being nice to each other once again. It's funny. I was actually watching Miles Deutsch's YouTube video in preparation for this video to see what he was talking about, because he's really good on the macroeconomic factors. And it's crazy how quickly his YouTube comments have turned. Everyone's gone from like, oh, Miles is our hero to, oh my God, flip-flopper, Miles, la la la. I'm like, wow, it's crazy to see the emotions and the sentiment all across crypto change so rapidly from just zero to hero, whether we're talking about Bitcoin or an altcoin or an influencer. If you can not get emotional and you can see the bigger patterns, you're going to be taking money from everyone who is out there and complaining. Carl Chassie thinks that we are in this point right here, just before we go exponential and reach our euphoria, which is where we want to try and time the market to get out somewhere along this top double peak here. But he thinks this is the bear trap, the little bit of a pullback, a little bit of consolidation before we go exponential. And if Carl Chassie doesn't know well enough, how about Scottie Pippen? Because he says they want your Bitcoin, they want your crypto. Don't get shaken out. He also thinks we are in that point of the bull trap. Now, this was the most convincing slide in this entire presentation. It's not really a slide or a presentation. It's a tweet and a video. But the Bitcoin historian says, reminder, Bitcoin is always boring before it goes parabolic. It likes to really shake people out with sideways action. When it's going down, a lot of people might be like, oh, it's good opportunities to buy, put more money in. But when it goes sideways, it really bores people. And you can see every single Bitcoin cycle from 2011 to from 2013 to 2017 to 2021, now 2025, before we've gone parabolic, before we've seen all and most the gains, Bitcoin has trended sideways and had that pullback before we took off. And let's jump down to Raoul Pal, who talks about the banana zone, which is that really upwards and to the right part of the graph that we were just looking at. It says, yes, we are still in the banana zone. Banana Zone Phase 1 was the breakout last year, now the consolidation. Like the 2016-2017 consolidation after Phase 1, this will not last long. Next up, Banana Zone Phase 2, the Banana Singularity, which is alt season, when everything goes up, followed by a bigger consolidation. Consolidation is the graph going back down and accumulating, going sideways. And finally, Banana Zone Phase 3, where the core winners explode onto make much higher highs, the concentration phase. This is my roadmap to Valhalla. Let's see. The Michael Saylor parody account, this is not actually Michael Saylor, basically said the same thing, how we're going to go sideways before every single up candle. It's not going to be up only. And let me put a little bit more of my personal thoughts in here. I'm seeing people inside of our Telegram. I'm seeing people inside of other people's communities. I'm seeing people on Twitter. They're getting hungrier and hungrier for the gains because we've had some 10x gains, some 12x gains, some 50x gains, and they've been really awesome, mostly in the AI and meme space. But people hear about their friends getting those gains. They see other people on YouTube getting their gains, and they want that for themselves, and they really start making short-term plays in order to say they got that 10, 20, 50x really quickly, when in reality, these things play out over weeks. And you might miss a couple of pumps that might pump 10, 20x in a day, but the pumps are getting quicker and quicker because people are getting hungrier and hungrier for them, and all the liquidity is flowing into way more projects horizontally than being concentrated in the one or two that, like, say, Alex Becker got into or Crypto God John got into. Now everyone is thinking that every influencer call is going to do the same thing, and they're following these crazy influencers, or they're following people who aren't even influencers and just in a Discord group with them, recommending tokens that they're going to be rug pulled on them anyway. So people need to take a quick breath through their nose, calm down a little bit, because gains are here to be made, but not if you're rushing for them and not if you're uneducated. I know that's a terrible advice to hear if you are uneducated and rushing for them, because that's the last thing you want to hear. Also, go play the casino. You could also do really well if that's your strategy. For me, I think I'm going to do way better long-term by playing the long-term games. Now, this Smiley Capital had a really good breakdown on why he thinks this is definitely not the top, because he says, at the top last time, no one was talking that this is the cycle top. Now everyone's calling, is this the cycle top? Also, no one was looking at any macro issues. They were completely ignoring them. ETH was trading at multiples above previous highs, and the flippening, which means ETH being worth more than Bitcoin, is thrown around a lot. That's when you know you're getting to some absurd valuation. And of course, crypto is over mainstream media, commercials, and sponsorships, which I think that is happening a little bit. I personally do not think we are anywhere near the top of the market at all, but at least these top three. If people are talking that this is the top, it's most likely not the top. In comparison to now, everyone's talking about the top. ETH didn't even break all-time high yet. Participants expecting never-ending downtrend versus Bitcoin, which is the opposite to the flippening. They think Bitcoin's going to get stronger than ETH. Apart from some obscure series named Squid Game, which is a trash show, apparently, I know a lot of people love Squid Game. Occasional Zoomers gambling on Fartcoin and occasional millennials calling HBAR and XRP the future of finance. Crickets. It's not really hitting the mainstream crazies yet. Just stay bullish. It's not that hard. I'm tired of lending conviction since Q1 2023. It's been 2 years, guys, and I'm still have to slap sense into most of you at $20,000 and now at $90,000. Crashes Clay tweeted this, which I thought was really cool. This was the ETH graph, and you can see it pulled down again, had the run up, which is what he's saying that we just had, that nice little run up, had a nice pullback consolidation before it went exponential and skyrocketed, which means this could be, if you believe that this is the super cycle, a buying opportunity. John says, it's crazy that the market is giving us the best buying opportunity of 2025 in the first few weeks. Crash says, in downturns, people will sell the coins they don't believe in as much first. Hence why Brett continues to gain dominance over WIF and so many other memes. People don't want to sell their Brett first. So therefore Brett, even though they're both going down, is going down less quickly than WIF, and you can see which memes are holding the strongest and therefore which memes are likely to explode when the market comes back around. Crash says, study what gains dominance in downturn. Silver says the same thing. Zoom out. Top meme coins will recover, but SPX will explode hard. It was, I think, the only token in the top 1,000 or top 500 or so that was green on yesterday, and everything else was red. And you can see if that's bullish, wow, Filecoin down 44% in the time that SPX is up 5%. You can see which ones the true cults are, the true convictions are, and the long-term holds are when markets pull back. Murad said the same thing. Distance from all-time high for meme coins. Pay attention to the coins standing the strongest when Bitcoin dips. They're the coins that will go ballistic and make us all really rich and wealthy in 2025. You can see distance from all-time high here. Giga actually just pulled back the least, which I'm sad for, but it's kind of interesting too, because I'm sad that Giga hasn't pulled back to 300 mil market cap so I can get a large amount of money in. But then if it had pulled back, someone like Murad is going to be less bullish on it because it didn't hold its price as well. So it's sort of a lose-lose situation for someone like me. But Murad is saying, get into Giga, get into SPX, get into these coins, even if they haven't pulled back. And I made a video yesterday about putting 100 grand across about 3 or 4 of these tokens. So go watch that if you haven't already, because for me personally, not financial advice, I believe this is an awesome buying opportunity. Now, this is where I'm going to put my own opinion in here, because this is a chart that Michael Saylor made me aware of. And Michael Saylor is the most long-term player in all of crypto. He's playing in decades. And then you have people in Telegram groups who are playing in minutes. And it's a spectrum between them. Becker plays within about a year, maybe 6 months to 12 months. And then you have the AI influencers at the moment who are even playing within 1 month, trying to get that pump and then trying to get out. But Michael Saylor looks at Bitcoin price over decades. And when you zoom out, it's one of the least volatile, most steady, upwardly compounding assets that you've ever seen. It's the best performing asset in history. And you can only see that when you zoom out. So these are yearly candles since 2010. And you can see the entire 2017 bull run was this one candle here. You can see the entire 2020, 2021 bull run were these 2 candles right here. Where are the red candles? There's not that many red candles. There's a very volatile candle back in 2014. But you can see in the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years, you've had 2 red candles. Apart from that, Bitcoin has gone up. So think long term. We've got the first ever Bitcoin president going into office in the US. You've got the M2 money supply going up, and Bitcoin acts as the liquidity sponge. And why am I talking about Bitcoin when we're mostly an altcoin trading channel? Well, because everything follows the music of Bitcoin. If Bitcoin can climb to 250K, if it can climb to 150K, if it can keep going up and to the right like it's done for the last 15, 16 years, we are going to be able to get that liquidity to trickle down into the meme coins, into the altcoins, into the AI agents, have a lot of fun. Some of us are going to be able to cash out in profit and roll them back into the real long-term assets like Bitcoin and do extremely well. If you're the type of person who thinks that this is the end of the market, that's totally okay too. It's very possible that you're right, but what are you still doing here watching YouTube videos? Go move on to whatever the next hot topic is. Go build an AI company. And whatever it is that we all decide to focus on, let's stay educated, keep building, and keep working hard, because that's how we make monumental wealth over the next decade or so, and it doesn't have to be crunched into a day. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.